This is the Something Obscene Company J-Cape. It's a collaboration between Something Obscene Company and Reate knives. And it's on loan to me from Hero Sticks. Hero, thank you so much for loaning me this knife. He sent me a box of 5 really excellent knives, very cool. A couple of them I just needed exposure to, like a James brand knife. And then like this on the other end of things, which is going to be very difficult to send back, but I have to do that. There's no more putting off this video so that I don't have to send it back. What a beautiful knife. So this was one of those knives like the Chavez knives that I just felt like I didn't need to get because it had the one fatal flaw. The clip I didn't like. And that fatal flaw was something like a Seinfeld character I almost searched for irrationally just so that I wouldn't have to buy this otherwise uber appealing knife. I mean, to me, this just speaks my love language. You got this beautifully aggressive blade, but also very useful. You got a belly here, but you have the setup of a tanto with that really stout yet acute and swedged tip. I mean, that's like a dagger, basically, in cross-section right there. But then you have this sweeping belly and then a super thin hollow grind with a long straight. This is a perfect blade design. And then you go backward towards the end of the clip here. It's a clip point. What is this? It's like a Spanto, also could be a clip point, or also could be a harpoon drop point. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's like, reminds me of that line from 16 Candles. You don't spell it, son, you eat it. And in this one, it's like you don't have to define it. Just use it. It's amazing. And let your eyes also just enjoy the eye candy. This thumb ramp here is perfect. It's perfectly placed with the ergonomics, the amazing ergonomics of the rest of the handle, which we'll talk about in a second, and perfectly situated on that blade to give you, I don't know, sometimes I feel like thumb ramps are too far back so that you're kind of forced to keep it in a saber grip. But with it up here, you really can put a lot of pressure down in the center of that blade without having to ride your thumb way out like that. So it just feels great. It's grippy. It's not going to shred your fingers, but you can see it's grippy. It's crisp. Those jimps are crisp. And then speaking of crisp, you have this horizontal satin, and then the satin from those grind lines. Really just gorgeous Reate, typical sort of Reate finish. Great finish on a blade. I love their belt satin. It's gorgeous. There you see 20 CV, CPM 20 CV. And then on both sides you see the Something Obscene Company logo. It's that fist coming right at you with the lightning. And what is that, a UFO on the thumb? Can't tell. Might be a UFO. And then lastly on this blade, you have a really generous sharpening choil that leaves you perfectly clear from even, you know, scuffing that titanium when you're sharpening all the way up to the end. So it's a very nice and generous sharpening choil. And then you have this perfectly forward swept in the open position and backward swept in the closed position flipper tab. Unlike a hinderer, which goes the other direction and spears makes you press down on a pointy hook, this one is going in the other direction, and you have that nice flat area to pull back on, and it rockets out. And I will also argue that in the open position, it's better as a finger guard because it's not hampering your finger, but it is still stopping you from sliding up there. If you were to thrust forward and meet resistance, that would still keep your finger. It's jimped and it's got a nice, you know, but it's not confining in your grip. Whereas sometimes I find the smaller hinderers somewhat confining in the grip, more the XM18. But anyway, really, really like the design of the blade altogether, and that flipper tab is perfect. The action also is perfect. Just super smooth, and It rockets out, like I said. Zero play. There's no, I mean, it's solid as a rock when it's open. It's just, and it does not fall shut unless you give it a little help. Probably my favorite type of action. I do like action that will drop shut, but I like also to be able to guide it myself. I find that also gratifying in a weird fidget way. Okay, so let's look at this handle. We'll start with the clip side because, as I indicated earlier, this was kind of that thing when this first came out that was like, oh, okay, I don't need to spend that money because I don't like the clip. And I thought, you know, I'm very much, I like a plain clip as much as possible. And to me, this was just too garish, too much. Drawing attention, you know, kind of like the skull clip in the Chavez, which I still don't like. But now you get one of his knives and you have the option to have a different clip. You know, it's just a motif that's not, it's not my thing. So I kind of was able to cancel this out of my mind as a necessity for expense. This is one of my ways of you know, I have a lot of justifications, ways to justify buying knives. Well, I have a lot of ways of justifying not buying knives, especially when they are so obviously my type of knife. That's like, it's almost a drag when a great knife comes out. It's like, oh, like this Hinder's got this Project X knife coming out, and I looked, it's like perfect. So I know that's a $500 bill coming up in the future, or whatever that's going to cost. But so let's take a look here at this handle. The clip in person, no big deal at all. Works great in and out of the pocket, as you can see from the shape of that clip and the generous sort of capture area there. These are so subtle. I mean, it's like no big deal. The biggest thing about the clip is that it's anodized gold, so that's the flashiest part of it. It's grown on me since I have it, and I kind of like the clip, especially because it means something. It's important to this guy, Felix, the guy who runs this company. And man, I love this design. You move up here, I do like the anodized gold on the hardware. Ordinarily, I don't go for gold, but it's like shiny bronze, I guess. And this area right here, this lock bar access is just so nice because from this angle, it doesn't look like there's any lock bar access. And indeed, there really isn't, except for the fact that they kept the full width of the titanium, just including the chamfering on the outside, just continuing that from here. But all they did was give it perfect jimping, absolutely perfect jimping, so that you don't feel any sort of difference in height between the scales when you're gripping it. So you get a full, you know, sometimes it feels like, you know, it just thins out on this side because there's a scoop cut out of there maybe, so that you have good access to the lock bar. Well, here it's perfectly flat straight across, but the way it's jimped is positively perfect for grabbing it with your thumb. You feel there's no, you know, you don't have to like press in there and get the fat of your thumb in there. It's just perfect. This knife, man, I gotta say, I'm trying to come up with something I don't like about this knife, so that I don't have to go on a quest, because they're not readily available, I don't believe. I think they come in drops, and now I gotta subscribe to a newsletter and all that. But okay, so this titanium handle is gorgeous too. Heat anodized to give that really nice pattern. Great thing about this handle is this right here, the shape. So it has this widening, this tapering towards the blade and this widening out, and then it sort of plateaus and gives you these, this is perfect ergonomics. It's got sort of the effect of a Strider with the widening out and the surety of that, except this is 100 times more comfortable, in my opinion, than a Strider. These two areas where your fingers naturally fall into and wrap around, it's so comfortable and so sure in the hand. I mean, it's like melt in the hand positivity. The grip is amazing. A nice thing about this too is that it's light. Nice and light. It's got a good sound. Let's see. I don't normally do this, but it's impressive how thoroughly milled out the inside is. Looks like a bridge. That's really cool. And on the lock bar side, they did the same thing. Very cool. Reate knows how to make a knife, and apparently Felix, I can't remember his last name, Archimbeke, something like that. I'm sorry, Felix. I'm spacing on your name positively, but man, I love this knife. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Let me show it off with a couple of other knives. All tantos, except for the one that he had a hand in designing, which is the Arcane Design Antimatter. He helped Israel in the design of this beautiful, beautiful daggery Reate made dagger. I don't know, it's not even daggery, it is a dagger. It's got both edges sharpened, which, you know, I'm so tired of these dagger ground blades that don't have two edges. It's kind of a shame. All right, so there it is with that. Two Reate knives. I'm gonna hold them up together so you can look at the gorgeous finishes. And then my other Reate knife, I'll bring that in here. And that's the K2. Now just look at those blades together. They just really do a beautiful job on their blades, don't they? Those are just gorgeous. Okay, that's a big knife, the Reate, the K2. So it's a little bit longer, but look at those compound Bowie blades. So I'm gonna compare this or just show this with my other favorite folder Bowie blades. Let's see, there we go. All right, so here it is with the Umnumzan Tanto. Love that shape, that blade shape. This one gets used a bit. As I showed you before, here's another really uniquely, nicely compound ground Tanto there. That's the Eclipse by Rick Hinderer Knives. Here it is with the Emerson designed, I can never remember the number, 620 by Zero Tolerance. It's on this model. Is this the L-Max? Yeah, on the L-Max model, they coated it. The other one was S35, I believe, and you could see the grind lines on that one, much easier. But this has really nice facets. Same thing like this, just a gorgeous Tanto style blade. Now, you're saying, why are you showing this only with Tantos? Just because it reminds me of a Tanto, you know? It's like half American Tanto, half, well, no, that would make more than one. It's like a third of a Bowie, third of a Tanto, third of a Quaken. So that's why I'm showing it with these. All right, I don't need to justify this. All right, two more really, really awesome Tanto shapes. Probably my all-time favorite. The old SOCOM Elite, old meaning up till, this is a 2012. I think they made this kind of Tanto until 2013, I think. But I just love it. So unique. That swedge, that long pulled out tip, kind of like the Eclipse. Love that. All right. Well, again, I must thank my good buddy Hero Sticks. Thank you, Hero, for loaning me this. It really set a fire under me to seek one of these out. I really dig this knife quite an awful lot. So beautiful, beautiful work from everyone involved. All right, thanks for watching.